Now, the British auction house Bonhams has seen average lot prices increase fivefold since it started specialising in contemporary African art in 2007. It's led market watchers to say African art is the next big thing, following in the footsteps of the contemporary Chinese art boom. West Africa is leading the way, with most artists and sold works originating from Nigeria and Ghana. Well, our African business reporter Adora Mba is here. Adora, what's behind this rise then in contemporary African art?
Well, I mean, there's always been a small following, a dedicated following to African art, but recently, in the last 5 years, it's just surged, and I think this is because, you know, in African economies, like having a lot more money to be able to spend on art, but more importantly, artists themselves in Africa now have a way of reaching out to buyers and collectors in the UK and the States. They, you know, use social media and technology and put their paintings and things up so that now people around the world can see them, and you don't have to travel to go and find an artist any longer.
And we're seeing some examples now of this art. Just
yes.
What kind of, stylistically, what kind of things is there anything that you can sort of pinpoint that makes it?
This is contemporary African art, and I think this is what's becoming more and more popular now in African art. I mean, there used to be traditional African art, the usual artifacts, sculptures and wooden things, but nowadays you can see African artists are becoming a lot more contemporary and a lot more modern, and this is what's very popular, both on this side of the globe and also back home in Africa.
And a lot of this that we're seeing now doesn't come cheap. Who's buying it?
No, predominantly, actually, the biggest buyers are Nigerians and South Africans, surprisingly. I suppose, you know, both Nigeria and South Africa have the biggest economies, you know, they have the largest population, and they have a wealthy elite who can afford to spend and buy these paintings. So it's predominantly in Africa, but the Brits and the Americans are now slowly getting involved and getting more involved with the art market.
Are they being bought for an investment or for the love of it? Or?
Well, currently more the love, but I do think more and more buyers are seeing that the art value is going to go up, and they'll be looking to invest, you know, especially in the future years. But right now, I think the art movement is still quite new, especially back home, you know, in West Africa. So people see what they like and you know, they want to buy it. But I think, yes, they're going to get much smarter with their buying methods very, very soon.
And you say it's mainly African people in Nigeria and in South Africa who are buying this art. Are we likely to see people from, say, Britain or Europe going over to Africa?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, in England at the moment, there's so many African art galleries and fairs dedicated to African arts, like, you know, 154, which has over 100 galleries from New York and France who exhibit their African artists. In Paris, they're having their first African art fair this December for the first time, and New York have an African art fair that they do, I think, twice or 3 times a year. So it's definitely getting interest all over the globe, not just back home.
So looking into the future, 5 years from now, where will the contemporary African art market be?
Well, we'll be going up and up. I think the value will go up a lot more. At the moment, actually, paintings are quite modest to buy, but I think in 5 years' time, you know, it's going to be very expensive to be buying some of this artwork, but it's getting more and more saturated. There's so many talented, amazing artists, and now it just, you know, we need more buyers and more collectors to get involved, which is happening. So soon it'll become a massive boom.